Peppercorn with the Brightside team, and welcome to my home. Like many of you, this is where I've been spending a great deal of time these days, and I was especially excited to put up my Christmas decorations this past weekend. Each year on the holidays, it's a time of reflection for myself, and this year is no different. I probably have more to think about this year than ever before. One of the things that I've been thinking about is diversity in the workplace and how the events of the last year have impacted that. As a woman in technology, I'm especially passionate about the gender gap and the importance of diversity of thought in the workplace. In a year where the unimaginable took place, a worldwide pandemic, most facets of our lives have changed in some way. But one of the trends across Canada that has really been impacted by the pandemic is the number of women in the Canadian workforce, which has dropped down to the lowest levels in 30 years. There's a ton of reasons why, but in general, women are much more likely to work in industries like restaurants, bars, healthcare, retail, and educational services that were the hardest hit when it came to closures and layoffs. As if that wasn't enough, women are also impacted because on average, they do tend to shoulder more of the childcare responsibilities than their male counterparts. If there was a silver lining, what I would say is that based on my experience, it does feel like there are fewer women in technology leaving the workforce than other industries, and we are still seeing healthy numbers of women applying for vacancies. That being said, I have seen a spike in the number of women expanding their families and going on maternity leave. However, when I dig into the data, this does represent a temporary leave from the workforce and not a more permanent change. I am seeing more and more families sharing the responsibilities of maternity leave, and many women are actually returning faster to the workforce than I've ever seen before. I think that some of the roles in technology were perhaps less disrupted because this is an industry that's extremely well versed in remote and distributed teams. More and more organizations are moving towards managing results and not the time in your chair, allowing people to break up their days differently when needed, which is so critical for many parents right now who are having to act as educator, care provider, and mom all in the span of a single day. Offices that were previously co-located are now fully working remotely and demonstrating incredible results with this way of working, which really opens up the geographic borders for where people look for talent. And I think this represents enormous potential for women across the globe. I think that more and more people are going to make the long-term decision to work from home and not return to the office. And this kind of flexibility is something that's going to be top of mind for team members going forward. What if this kind of environment could actually incent women who are looking for opportunities to reskill from some of those industries that were really hard hit to transition into an industry like technology that they'd maybe never really considered before because of the flexibility that it provides? All this to say that the contraction of the number of women in the workforce is of course a trend that is deeply concerning, but I do remain optimistic in terms of the opportunities for women that exist in the technology space. One of the things I get asked about quite often is if I have any tips for women in technology. And I would say number one is, if you do see a role out there and that you're passionate about and that you feel like you maybe have 80% of the skills required, take that chance, put yourself out there and go for it if you think it could be a good fit. Most employers nowadays are looking for team members who are naturally curious, problem solvers, and collaborators with the capacity to learn. Those things are much more important than ticking off a prerequisite list of skills on an application. And I would say number two, don't be afraid to ask for a promotion. If you can clearly articulate your achievements and performance results in support of your ask, and you are making a data-driven recommendation, then why not? They say that you will miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, and this is no different. Will it be uncomfortable? Oh yeah. Will it be worth it? Absolutely. Even if you don't get that exact position, what a great practice run for that next amazing opportunity. Thank you all so much for listening today, and I look forward to chatting with everyone in the new year. Wishing everyone a safe and happy holiday season.